So we're tracking a whole bunch of vaccine trials and development for coronavirus vaccines, and there's news from a couple of different vaccine manufacturers or researchers that I think is relevant, important, and potentially optimistic, which I think we could use a little bit of right now. So the first one's Oxford University. Oxford University could have a vaccine ready to be used in September. The reason that Oxford has a head start is that they've already been working on a vaccine for prior coronaviruses, and they already have proven the formula, so to speak, to be harmless to humans from a safety perspective. So Oxford already has a vaccine for this specific coronavirus. Last month in a lab in Montana, they tested this specific vaccine on rhesus monkeys. They give the monkeys the vaccine. They expose the monkeys to huge amounts of the virus. The monkeys without the vaccine all got the virus. And more than 28 days later, the 6 monkeys that had been vaccinated did not get the virus at any point in time. That's huge. The rhesus monkey is the closest thing to Homo sapiens for the purposes of testing vaccines. You can read a lot about that if that's interesting to you. Now, is it guaranteed that a vaccine that is safe in humans and works in rhesus monkeys will work just as well to create immunity in humans? No, it's not a guarantee, but it's a very good sign. Next step is human trials of this specific vaccine. They're going to be doing a trial with 6,000 people by the end of May. That's very, very big and will be really important to see how that goes. Now, the question is, does it work to prevent coronavirus in humans? That's what this 6,000 person test is meant to figure out. And a few important things here to think about. Number one, okay, how does a vaccine work? The vaccine contains an element of the germ that makes people sick. It could be a killed or weakened version of the germ so that the vaccine doesn't give you the disease. That would be a disaster. Some vaccines have just part of the germ. It's enough of the germ, the idea is, whether it's been weakened or it's only a part of it or it's dead germ, it's got to be enough that the body reacts by making antibodies, which then, in an ideal world, makes you immune to the full germ if you were to be invaded by it. And you have to go through numerous steps, including testing the vaccines for safety, testing the vaccine for efficacy, seeing if it generates, what is the right dose to generate enough antibodies that you will be immune. You can have a situation where the vaccine is safe in the sense that it doesn't harm humans, but it might not make you immune. There can be cases where the vaccine could make you have a more serious version of the disease if you were to be infected. That would be a disaster, of course. So what needs to happen for this vaccine to be usable in September? First, you've got to test the 6,000 humans in May. That has to go well. Number two, there often is a production issue when it comes to vaccines, because if you wait until you know it's the vaccine to use to start production, you're behind and you've lost really important time that could be used to start vaccinating people. So what they're going to do is now or soon, they will start production of this vaccine before they even know for sure that it's going to be the vaccine. This is to be able to have at least some millions of doses ready as soon as it's determined that this is a vaccine that works. And then lastly, important, if it were to be available in September, it's not going to be everybody and their mother goes and gets this vaccine in September. If everything goes perfectly in September, there would be a few million doses. It would probably be authorized under emergency use. And probably at that stage, it would just be for healthcare workers, which makes sense. And then subsequently for the most vulnerable people in populations. So this is all good news, but most likely there will be more than one vaccine that's used when things get going because of the number of doses globally that are going to be needed. So a couple of questions that now come up. Will this be like a flu vaccine that's only effective against like that year's strain or mutation? Answer, we don't know. There's a research paper that says that the vaccine candidates for this coronavirus would match all circulating strains of the virus. but not that they would work on all coronaviruses. That's an important distinction. There would be the vaccines being worked on now. We already have at least moderately different strains of this coronavirus that have spread due to mutation. The vaccine would likely work on all of those, but it would not work on any coronavirus. As you know, there are many coronaviruses, including common colds, can sometimes be caused by coronaviruses. The good news is that COVID-19 seems more stable than the flu virus. The mutation rate is much lower. That helps hopefully have one that will work longer than the flu vaccine works. It's all speculation. We just don't know at this point. One other bit of hopeful vaccine news. This is the Oxford trial I've been telling you about. There's a German company working with Pfizer, which has also started human trials, and they could potentially have millions of vaccines ready in the 2020 calendar year. Now, that could be November, it could be the end of December, but they are starting tests in the US next week. The idea is emergency use on the table in the fall, and if they get moving on production soon, before they even know for sure that it'll work, could have a few million doses available. They say that 12 participants have been vaccinated since the start of the study on April 23rd. No results yet. Many things happening. One thing I'm going to address at the end of the show in the voicemail segment is whether I would want to be at the front of the line for these vaccines. I'll address that in a little bit. Today's program is sponsored in part by the Galaxy series, which is a series of 3 books written by a really great author, Ithal. And I would call the genre sort of political science fiction. I've really enjoyed the books. It looks at the future. It explores what could happen to planet Earth if we stay on our path environmentally. It deals with space travel. It takes a sort of deep dive into political psychology. And it's a really intriguing, sort of dystopian look at the future. The stories are told from a perspective that I think people in the audience would really appreciate. And there's a ton of really excellent artwork also that accompanies the books. I read a lot of books in this genre, and I'll tell you, these books are very well written. The plot, the characters are compelling. If you're someone who likes politics and sci-fi, you'll really like these books. Again, it's the Galaxy series. Check it out for yourself. For a limited time, we have a special deal set up where my audience can get each book for just 99 cents. Go to davidpakman.com/galaxy.